Well, hey folks, let's have a seat. We have a lot of poets here, so we're going to start a little earlier. See, now I'm going to put glasses on, so we have a small pause.
And we're going to ask everybody to read for 3 minutes.
Yes, because we have a large number. This is very popular. It's so good to see everybody out there. But instead of 5 minutes, we're going to compress this down. Please, 3 minutes, a shorter poem if you can. Because we got a lot of folks here, and we just want to get everybody in and keep the energy cooking. So we're going to start with a lady named Dean Lenox. Let's welcome her to the open mic. Okay? Make sure to read into the mic so everyone can hear you.
Testing. Whoa.
Oh yeah.
I'm good.
Loud and clear.
Okay. How's this?
Good.
Okay. This is called Snake Magic. It was lonely in the cave. There passed fragments of seasons, unnamed, unwound, unexplored. I saw unburied visions. I cannot stop loving. I have snake magic. Shedding, transforming, death, life. I need no excuses. There was a break in silent meditation, but there was no doubt. I was given a legacy of love and madness. This was the only way home. Dark Mother, blindfolded, led me to a tiny god. Both were chanting and rapturous. I felt untamed, included. The snake coils first around itself and then around its prey. Death and rebirth. I live now where love is no surprise. Oh, but the rivers of fear I've pulled myself out of. It's not the kind of breaking that is broken. There is holiness in woundedness. Darkness, too, feeds the heart.
Yeah. Yes, holiness in being wounded. I like that. That was Dean Lenox. Now we are going to move on to a gentleman named Gus Dawn. Gus, you out there? There we go. Please welcome Gus. I'll get the mic for you.
Oh, is it for height?
You good?
Good. Okay. Since the sun came out today, it brought me to this poem. Called Ode to Spring. In spring, a young man's fancy, it's been so often said, seems to grow more frantic in fervor for a tryst romantic. The fevered brow, his thoughts of love, flowers, sonnets, more than this. His mind aspires to gentle kiss, dwells in tortured sense of bliss. Yon maiden fair captured air within his youthful longing, her smiles allure, lashes flutter, divinely charmed by his old ardor. An old enfeebled man instead is filled with every moaning dread. Sleepless nights, daytime worry, has he consumed his precious med? Aching knees, his dwindling mind, thinks not of love nor spring sublime. Suffering gout and prostrate, each in turn, those aching knees, the gastric burn. He yearns warming sun, pads made hot. Perhaps more pills might ease his lot. His spouse, not charmed by his fanaticism, may soon go mad at his dramaticism.
Good take on a sunny day, Gus. Thank you. We're moving on to a gentleman named Charles Tillman. Charles Tillman, this is a wonderful poet. Please welcome Charles.
I'll just read a couple of poems about painting. I've recently got back into painting, and I'm really loving it. I've got one painting on my makeshift easel and 5 more ready to work on. This is going to be part of a series called Oregon Easel that I've got maybe 10 poems for it already. This is Wing Bones Hunched in Sand. Oh, I should also say it's about a woman friend of mine who's kind of been a painting mentor since 1977. And she's up in Portland at this point. Starlight slips inside grasses, soft as deep fur. Moon, a half shell, dropping from nighthawk talon. She turns and faces the night tide. Ocean-thrown winds gnaw up the porch steps and inside the wool sweater. She keeps her focus on bowstring taut on the guidance of friction. The stepladder wrists of tomorrow, beveled when the bones of her eye to hand dip branches of marrow into a stream. Dawn is said to martyr dream. Dawn is said to martyr dream. She brushes white aside below an arch of deep waves. Her eyes, delta votive wax onto altar cloth, altar canvas, this loud chorus of stars soon fading. This is titled Facing Canvas. Facing Canvas. Cut by the saws of gusts, the widowed sky roils out over the Pacific. Crescent moon playing its diamond harp, cloud to cloud. He trolls for colors on the traverse between light and depth and light, working all night in his downtown studio. Dawn becomes a sunflower bent to wet earth as he dry brushes a mare standing above her sleeping foal. Their ears following night sounds rolling over cut hay, all within sight of a truck-thundered freeway.
Thank you, Charles. I love his imagery. Okay, here's one of our fun poets. Jules, it is time for you. Is that a good height for you, Jules? Alrighty.
Thank you. Featuring 2 countries here today, Ireland and France. As you know, on the 17th is the St. Patrick's Day, so in order of St. Patrick's Day, this is You Brought Ireland Right Over to Me by J. Cairn Braden. Oh, Nora, in leaving my heart, it was grieving for you and old Erin, my own, of love never speaking, my fortune I was seeking, not knowing 'twas there in Athlone. But when I was lonely for you only, you came to me from over the sea. Though you had not a penny, you brought Ireland's fortune to me. Sure, the light in your eyes is the blue of the skies. On your cheeks bloomed the wild Irish rose. And the gold in your hair is the sunshine from there. Aye, there's the scent of the sod on your clothes. In your voice there's a hush, 'tis the song of the thrush. And your laugh is the wind over the sea. No one in this land has a fortune so grand, 'cause that's how you brought Ireland right over to me. 1917. Okay. Today's sermon is in the joy of traveling. In my travels, one year I went to France. I found the Museum of Paris to be magnificent. The ancient world represented by the Louvre was a great meditation, but the modern world was represented by the museum called Orangerie, dedicated to the Impressionistic school. I found the best 100 feet of walking in a giant canvas of aquamarine. I felt like I was swimming underwater. These are some of the memories of France, and this is my latest poem dedicated to a French idea. The Prince. This is What Shall We Do with This Heavenly Love is the name of it. The Prince. I know not that I loved you, nor did I know that you loved me, but now my heart has revealed it to me. You came to me in the etheric, and I escaped with you into a rose dream. There must be a spell on us, but what shall we do with this exquisite happiness? Shall we let it be seen, or should we be kept a secret? Together we will make our life a great adventure, an adventure like no other. Our love will be a legend, and we will live long in the memory of the world. For you are a princess, and I am a prince. But what shall we do with this extraordinary feeling? Shall we let it be seen, or should we keep it a secret? I, the prince, say we should do whatever is forbidden of royalty. We will go together to the royal buffet, and we shall smoke a pipe in secret afterward and get higher together than anyone. Then we shall go together for desserts at the royal table of pastries. We shall stuff ourselves and laugh. But what shall we do with this heavenly joy? Should we let it be seen, or should we keep it a secret? I, the princess, say that life is full of such love, so we should not do what is forbidden, for that is not dignified. We shall marry and have plenty of children, and each one shall be called the greatest of all French pastries. And here are those masterpieces of the tongue. Number 1, apple savarin. Number 2, apricot cobbler. Number 3, strawberry shortcake. Number 4, Alaskan rum cake. Number 5, rough, tough cream puffs. Number 6, walnut delight. Number 7, pineapple charlotte. Number 8, plum souffle. Number 9, blessed angel cake. And the pièce de résistance, cake de l'amour, the love cake, baby.
I love the idea of naming children after pastries. Okay, that was Jules. Thank you, Jules. We would next have Sharon Monson is going to read for us. Welcome to the mic, Sharon.
Jules, you left me hungry.
Yes. How's this for a height for you?
A little bit lower.
Here we go.
5'1" is all it is. Perspective. Come here, he cries from the living room. Hurry. She hears the urgency, abandons her hot tea, and hastens down the hall. Hurry. She imagines a heart attack, stroke, broken arm. The television's set to his favorite auto auction. Look, he declares with longing, as a silvery blue convertible advances along a red carpet. A 1939 Hudson, he exclaims. Only 3 ever existed, and this is the last survivor. She lingers, drawn to the boy in him.
Thank you, Sharon. Alrighty, Jack Cooper is up next. Come on up, Jack. Let's see, I think he's going to be taller than Sharon. There we go. How's this?
That sounds great.
Good-o.
Twice as many. A tree grows twice as many leaves as it needs, because a tree is bigger than a tree. A tree is part sky, part earth, and multiplies togetherness. It will feed you and hold you and keep you from falling on the ground, beneath the ground. I could have worried less. I could have given more. I could have been stronger, more careful, less hurried like a tree. But not half of who I am without her. She could have loved me less. She could have wanted more. She could have said no, like fire, like time. But she couldn't have been more beautiful to someone else. Your heart holds more love than it can imagine, because your heart is bigger than you. Your heart is part you, part all, and beautifies continuousness. It will fly you and guide you and keep you aloft in a sky beyond the sky. Is there time? Okay. Outside yourself. In the sense that a baby hummingbird can fall at your feet and you can stoop to see that it was born with one withered wing and would never fly or find its own food, and that you can cradle it in your hands with its shivering heart and lift it out of the dirt to give it ambrosia through a straw, and that you are able to decide its fate, be in charge of its chances. In this sense, you are a god. In the sense that you don't know if the bird will live or die in your care, or what to do about the job or the cat or the long nights, and that you decide to return it to the thick bush it fell from, where it will surely open its mouth and cry from its tiny gullet until its tongue shrivels and its good wing grows limp and its feet curl and its lost eyes close forever. In this sense, you are merely human and do not want to be a god. This fallen bird, this ornament of the firmament, now flies on withered wings through the eternity of the wakeless sleep. It is your teacher in the lonely lesson of wildness. You can live outside yourself in the sky, but you cannot be a god of only beginnings. Thank you.
Our hearts are bigger than ourselves. I like that. Okay, moving on. Ooh, we got a lot of folks here. Marianne Hurt, I believe. Come on up, Marianne.
I have two fairly short poems. Actually, I live in Wisconsin, but I spent a lot of time here. My father's almost 99 years old, and we spent a lot of time in the Mackenzie River, so I need to read a short one about that too. But I also need to talk about a lullaby in a time of anxiety. I think we can all relate to that right now. Lullaby in a time of anxiety. Just one glimpse is enough to sense the snow owl. Its flash of white in these dark woods, yin-yang of ink and light. To know the whole circle unbroken is to hold the light and the deep ink of night. To live through the black is to cradle the dark, the stars, never so bright as when the night covers us. Sleep well now. Our earth continues to turn, and we rest in her arms. This is my Mackenzie River poem. It's called Trinity. I sit shivering in my father's drift boat. The sun has not found its way over the Cascades. The man I spent my first 18 years waits next to me. He's 92 now. Still rises when it's dark, loves these invisible salmon like brothers. My husband pulls oars through mountain cold Mackenzie water. We cast lines, ponder fish journeys. To eat what has worked so hard feels like communion. The river, my prayer.
Wisconsin is richer with you there, and we're richer with you here. Thank you very much. We have Donna McNeil coming up to read for us. Come on up, Donna.
This is really great. To be here listening to everyone's stuff is fantastic. This changes the mood a little bit. I love the blues And as was referenced by the poet just before me, there are days in which it feels really good to sing the blues. So I hope you enjoy this. What You Don't Know. What you don't know can't hurt ya. Least I heard it said that way. What you don't know got no power to hurt ya. Wondering if that's true today. So much that's going on now feels like the coming of Judgment Day. Well, he's tweeting and a-smiling like there's nothing up his sleeve. Every day he's tweeting and a-lying, we're so easy to deceive. What's going on in the shadows gonna cause us all to grieve. How do you keep on smiling when the devils come to town? How do you keep on trying with all the trouble coming down? Muddy waters climbing higher, feeling like I'm gonna drown. Gotta be like some old hound dog with my nose to the ground. Stick to it like a good old hound dog, 'cause there's something to be found. Keep that truth light shining brightly on what's buried in the ground. See, what you don't know can hurt you. Listen to me now, I say. What you don't know can truly hurt you. So here's how we gotta play. Things going on behind the curtain, bring 'em into the light of day. Get after whatever they're hiding, bring it on out into the light of day.
Bring it on out into the light of day. Thank you very much, Donna. Wow, good poets here, and a variety too. We next have on our variety scale, Sandy Scher is going to read for us. Come on up, Sandy. There we go.
Thank you. Okay, luckily we've had a lot of tragedy, deaths lately. We're getting to that age, and we used to have a lot of fun, and now we're going the other way. It's got to be balanced. So I wrote a number of poems this past year based on those. So we'll see if we can get through them. Alone with the Moon. When the full moon wakens me and I roll over to bask in its joy, I want to nudge you with my elbow and say, look at that beautiful moon, but you're not here. How can this grief be born when the moon is full and pools my longing female tides, floods me unbalanced and overwhelmed by waves of memory of someone I once nudged and said, look at that beautiful moon. These are sad poems. Wow. Okay, this is a sad poem about an old friend of mine, a school friend of mine, who passed away last year. It starts kind of funny, because she's kind of a funny kind of person, but we wind it up differently. Anyway, it's called Chrissy. Charlie called to say you were dying from one of those instant diseases, the kind I had never considered would get us, but apparently will. The kind of illness that seems nothing more than a sore throat one morning, but kills you the next. I could not sleep. When I finally did, I dreamed of the girl who 50 years ago took my dear, our feet and hearts pounding across the forbidden railway bridge every mother had warned against, our nervous laughter barely heard above the haunting whistle of an oncoming train. Closer, 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 faster, 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 never dreaming we could be so suddenly overtaken.
Wow, that was beautiful. Look at that moon. Thank you. Okay, it looks like either Jace or J.L. Toomer. There he is. Come on up. Jace? Right. There we go. You're taller than I am, so that should be okay.
Hey, my name's Jace. Thanks for coming out. I got a couple poems. I guess they're about life. While I'm surrounded by the things I ought to know, I'm astounded by the ways I gotta grow. to be a fountain in the ways I want to flow. Well, I'm just shouting from the bottom of my soul. Take me now to a place where I am full. I'm breaking down all the days that I am null. It's metaphysical. It's extra digital. It's prescribed inside a place that is fictional. It's all political. It's all just criminal to be confused by what's untrue and what is literal. So as I open up the gates to relate, don't you know that it's fate to feel fate? Can't you tell that it's great to be strange? Ain't it strange that you can feel things? I'll take my aim through the brain and the heart. If I can change, well, that's a good start. But don't we all want to live to be art? Just breathe a fire in the ways that you are.
Yeah.
Thank you. So this next one's called Pale Eyes. It's the only one I have a name for. There's motions we will never see that will change some things to be we've never known, never will. It's like we barely know who's we, and I have doubts, and I have dreams. And I don't know if I believe in all the finer things or all the suffering or all of anything. I don't know if where I'm going is hardly worth me knowing, but I'm the only one who can know, and that's got to count for something. Listen, little heart, barely beating from the start. You're here and then you're gone. You were real and now you're not. I remember knowing answers to questions I never asked, and I often ask questions to answers I'll never know. I'm possessed by this time and place. I wield my flesh with these thoughts. Words behind my teeth are often dragging me along to places I never thought I would see without my sight. I guess life can always see what's behind these pale eyes. Thank you.
Saw him at Cush the other night. Jace, welcome to the Poetry Circles here. Good stuff. Alrighty, we are on to, looks like Cathy McGuire. Come on up.
I'm in awe of anybody who can memorize their own poems, or anybody's poems. All right, I got two small ones. Caveat. In the cinder block and tin roof part of town, the passers-by wear dungaree jackets, wool caps with holes, battered boots. They hunch, hands jammed in pockets, no Gucci bags, no gleaming Nikes. This is the salvage side of town, cheap cafes with egg and toast breakfasts, washed down with scorch-your-throat coffee, black, no lattes, no scones. The sky presses down, its gray leaking onto buildings grimed by years, fitted and retrofitted with desperate ventures that bloomed then faded. Generations of ambitions died here. This is the lonely side of town. The borders are vague. You could stumble in before you knew it. Okay, one more. It's a little bit more upbeat, maybe. I want to thank Rhetorical Devices for helping me critique this one. I can't get the right psychic distance. We're motes of dust in the vast cosmos, but if I don't pay taxes, I'll be a cold and sorry mote on a wet street. I'm one of 7 billion. Imagine hearing one voice in that many. But oh, I need to speak, speak, speak. I grew up BC, before connectivity, earned my retreat, my sideline, but who'll tell the kids the full story? So my focus swerves, crazily telescoping. The feral cats, my civic responsibility, or stalking their own paths through karma. These miraculous aching muscles holding me up, slowing me down. The blessed blasted mosquito, the glorious falling leaves and slippery walk, each amazing breath, each gray hair, the unfinished crucial trivial poem, the hideous minor social gaffe, the tiny potentially cancerous freckle, each choice fraught with huge consequences, or none. The more I reach to grasp this glorious chaos, my inner scientist noting dates and times, the more it whirls uncontrollable, mocking, teaching, reminding me I am a tiny, tiny mote trying to grasp the whole. Thanks.
We, the fellow motes, thank you for that. Okay, on to a lady named Laura Lette. The infamous. Yeah, there we go. At least I got the Laura part right.
We all know who it was.
Hope to see y'all next Saturday at the third Saturday reading series here. I wrote this poem after a billboard on Highway 40 in St. Louis, Missouri. Please don't text and drive. No, I said no. One wrong thing, the answer. A minor stupidity, sorrow and salt. She was my something else, radiance, before the bite of the fruit, vengeance splayed through the afternoon. I wanted her to stay decanted, but the gun kept going off. A gun is a gun is a gun. She was made up entirely of fixed blade arrows, the proper weight of things, tailgates in the rain, like a rifle. And another short poem. These are from my book, It's Always Night, It Always Rains, and they're themed around death and murder. Another side of the fence. Dressed in a locust, a blue button, too splintered to care, between histories, I compartmentalize broken glass, rose beds, the unspoken swelling, ground to dust and swallowed. Fragments of naming spit into stone, still for a moment, the odd seed notwithstanding. There is no love that can contain us. I regret nothing.
That is the famous Laura LaHue. Next Saturday, she and her husband Roy, or partner, shall I say, the S.O. Roy, who's just a wacky fun dude. It's going to be at Tsunami, 5 o'clock, am I right? Poetry for the People. Be sure to show up. It's a great reading. We have next, I won't even do the last name, Rachel. Where's Rachel out there?
Rich. Rachel Rich.
Rachel Rich. Too easy to read. Okay, thank you.
That's pretty good, thank you. How's this?
Yeah.
Okay. This is based on reality. It actually happened. Symmetry. Chin in the air, certain of my admiration. The old man bragged how his father and the neighbors shot Indians for sport, one by one braves creeping through the bushes to the creek for a drink. They got rid of him, the Yanni tribe, subhumans hiding in a cave like beasts, one with webbed feet. A weird neighbor took in a girl they missed. Who would put up with her? Cowering and babbling, wouldn't eat at the table, or bark and sinew till it fell off. And would you believe that Ishi got away to the Smithsonian? The arrogant old man's own daughter had been born web-footed, though he never saw the irony, hiding from visitors, alone in a nursing home, trying to kill himself. You might want to look up the history of Ishi, the last Indian, sometime. But that's a piece that's not in any book. This one's on a little lighter note here. And it's still cooking, it's not done yet. I doze in an August field. Dry weeds prickling my back, ladybugs tickling my arm. A lime green slice, the caterpillar gnaws holes in her living room floor. Clouds dressed in lavender gray swirl and switch in minuet. Cicadas whir, bumblebees hum, summer lullabies.
Nice one. Keep cooking that. It's a good one. Okay, Sabina Stark is up next. Where's Sabina Stark? There she is. Please come up.
I'm going to read a short piece that I wrote while I was living in Jerusalem, and it happened right at the beginning of the Second Intifada, year 2000. At night and most of the day, Jerusalem belongs to the cats. Their broad, distinctive faces look out from every walkway, every bush and container. They crouch along walls and cling to and furiously climb the trunks of trees. But in the early morning, birds own the streets. As soon as the light of morning comes, they proclaim their dominion over sky and all high places, with a full range of songs and lovely repeated fragments that evolve just a little with each rendition. One small-beaked bright gray tenor often begins his solo on the tree just outside our building. Dee-doo-tweet, dee-doo-tweet. And he continues after a dramatic sweep to the highest porch across the street. From down the hill, someone answers him with a slight variation, adding a note or two to the original phrase. This throaty, graceful call and response is repeated over and over from every direction. I was fooled into thinking a woodpecker had joined our neighborhood, but the crowish creature imitating the sound fell back to its grating single pitch, ah, ah, after a few minutes of speedy cluck, 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 clucks. Delicately colored doves waddle and fly in small groups, chanting low, murmuring coos. The sky opens up with music in those moments, before the world of people and commerce take over. With such a fruitful and distinguished feline population, it's a miracle that so many birds thrive in this city, but there are no signs of clashes or casualties anywhere between these animal nations, no feathers strewn across the tiled patios or bird carcasses lying on sidewalks. Most feathered citizens make their homes far above the dangerous quarter of trash bins and low walls where their enemies reside. Their cradles and places of business prevail at the tops of trees and on railings of the uppermost balconies and the roofs of buildings. While the cat's world is framed by cars and dogs, the refuse of humans, doors opening and closing, scraps of food and containers of water hidden under the shrubbery, I imagine the view from above as much more generous. Raspy crows occasionally descend to partake of our earthbound world, acting like the vultures that they are, and this morning I found 2 brown doves reading a newspaper that was lying open across the front patio of a house. But songbirds live high above, little moving dots above things. They sing sparingly during the day, waiting till daybreak to exclaim their territory in loud broadcasts and melodic articulations. While the sun is full out, and into the evening, quiet twitters and piccolo trills cut like tiny sparks of light through the constant rumbles on the ground. There is a war here. There's a war here between the humans. I see birds occasionally looking down at us mortals from the tops of unfinished buildings or hiding in the upper branches of old trees. The hum of people talking, the early staccato of shots just over the hill, the grinding and whooshing of cars and buses, the breaking of the sound barrier, all but erase the flying voices from the mosaic of the daytime world. Maybe their songs would have held on to the sound space if people would have not swept over this bird joy. But for now, I wake at 5 a.m., I stand on my porch and just listen.
Thank you for bringing us that music. That was good. Daniel Warren is going to read for us. Daniel. There he is. Daniel Warren, come on up.
All right, I'm bringing technology into here.
Under the mic.
Under the mic, all right. Nothing replaces the rumbles of Smoky Mountain storms. Claps of thunder interrupting the steady clatter of pea-sized hail on the tin roof, barn life, tall grass, flooded streams, muddy water, but damn do the Cascades come close. Today the radar was filled with pink blobs racing northwards from Cali to Washington. There was even a tornado, plenty of hail. I just heard the thunder from miles away as the storms approached. I swear I can hear two pairs of thunder, two parts of the thunder. The first is lighter in pitch and the second a deep rumble. And it brings it all back to Tennessee. I know I heard it there too. Swoosh, boom. The cloud above, the cloud below. One more, Spring's Here, and this is inspired by spring. This I wrote in 2009. I watched the sun melt clouds into fluffy curds, the horrible sad worm wowed by the floating fearless birds. I hear the soil offering water to the happy new grass, and the boys on the teeter-totter laughing and spitting sass. I smell the rocks dispersing, the rain's aroma, and mothers joyfully nursing young woke from coma. I gladly realize, to my surprise, that it is spring. I welcome its tame.
Thank you, Daniel, bringing spring to us. And now, the man, the myth, the mystery. Please welcome Leo Rivers.
Oh! And I go from blood flowing over my knees down to my feet.
From the initial version of the collection called The War on Wonder Woman, the poem Margaret Magdalene, a melancholy memory of Mad Maggie. People thought she was crazy. Born mad, Maggie looked out from infinite inward spaces, mind unfolding into an unseen origami of wild leaping wings. Her gorgeous mad eyes were that bird's laughing wings. Her nubile red raspberry lips pursed to kiss the wonders of our blue sky world as they passed like Eden-tamed beasts before her naked baby wriggling. Born with Venus at her midheaven, Maggie burst out with a shout, naked as the round rocks one sees under fast springs and rainforests, where huge painted spiders, each with the face of a robotic arachnid, spin webs of black widow tinsel across boa-draped limbs whose warp and woof cast shadows that paint the inside of her eyelids with prehistoric chameleon miniatures, monster butterfly monsters, and birds of living origami all together as an applique on a Toltec tapestry of an Amazon deep, backcountry home to many of the herbs used by Maggie's mom for Milady's fevers, chills, and make baby pills. Yes, Maggie's mom was a witch as well as a whore, and Maggie's uncles at the barber's all swore she's making menstrual tea back at her double wide to paint curses on cat skins. And she may be white, Mike, but she was born in the Delta where all the colors flow like tributaries into 2 centuries of more of white and Creole alike. Yo. Both those girls bleed mumbo jumbo gumbo, you know. Maybe, and maybe, and maybe. And yes, Mama Maggie would be open for business, an inflatable rubber pool empty set out on the driveway as daycare for her baby. And so Maggie grew up in a driveway with her eyes on the street. Poor folks have poor ways, or so the Christians say, but I think it's sad. Maggie was born to make men mad, make men paint dream scenes, write long poems and fall down drunk to sleep. Maggie stepped out of a schoolboy's dream or an old goat's reverie or a lecher's wildest scenario. All bare skin and infinite deep. Women stopped talking when, bare-legged, Maggie crossed the street like a deer a glade full of whispering rays. Women turned from giggles and gaggles of gossiping geese to mean-eyed mamas with no kind words to say, eye-cussing Maggie. Christian charity, excuse me, no way, not for witches today. Maggie was as careless and changeable as a cloud on a blustery day, dark at dawn, sunny and sending down showers and turns until night comes like a black beauty to carry her away. Maggie is crazy, one voice says. Maggie had a baby, another voice says. I say those who have lain with Maggie are changed from that day. They do all the same things in all the same ways, but their hearts and brains have been carried away. Maggie was a painter. She painted in oils. Her art was full of tumult and wild magnetic fields that leapt from her palette to wrestle like wild women in the weeds, driven by the thunderclaps of a lightning-racked storm. She was arrested, ranting, clothes torn, breasts embarrassing the officers, her bewildered tears delighting the mob. Now, everybody purses their lips. Now, everybody nods. Maggie was put someplace. Mad Maggie is gone.
Thank you, Leo. And as you all know, those of you who know me, I can never resist an open microphone. So I dragged one out from the past. This is called Lesson for the Day, A Jar of Honey. This actually happened to me. Stuck closed unopened. I grab the lid and twist. I take a deep breath and grab the lid and twist. No, I take the lid in my hand, plant my feet apart, take a full deep breath and twist. Still nothing. I heat the lid under running water, then molest it with towels. No go. Perplexed, I wander into the living room and give it another twist and another. You or me, babe. Again and again and again, the untapped, rock-tight lid and I exchange unmoving passion in isometric grappling. Again and again. Like all spells, it must break. And it does. A small sliding, subtle, like a turn of phrase. Then the lid is off, the spoon is in the honey and the chamomile tea. Perseverance furthers. And now let's welcome back to the microphone Mr. C. Stephen Blue to finish us off.
Well, that was a lot of work for some honey there. But probably well worth it, I'm sure. Okay, so I've heard some great stuff here today. You guys have all been great. How wonderful! What a good crowd today. So I've been reading for the last few months, so I'm feeling like performing again. So I'm going to do a performance piece today. I was going to do a piece with music, and I changed my mind at the last minute. I'm going to do a piece from my chapbook, Wildweed. I don my performance attire. So this is a poem. I'm a recovering alcoholic and drug addict, and I'm celebrating 30 years clean and sober this year. Thank you. So this is a poem that I wrote. I was about 6 months sober. I was sitting in Venice Beach, California, at a sidewalk cafe on a Sunday morning, drinking a cup of coffee and staring at the waves. And this poem poured right out of me, and I have never changed a word. So, from memory, as I do many of my poems. This is a poem about being in the moment, and it is titled Serendipity Sessions. In the far-reaching furrows, on the frontier of the future, beyond the fear-founded feelings of failure, lies this moment. Precariously perched in the present am I, and I tumble in thoughts of the deep path of passion. Seems the fashion these days, and I find I'm amazed by the simplest things that a fresh moment brings. Can I linger here long? May the seconds tick slowly as I slip through the shadows of serendipity sessions. For the plans that are painted from the palette of presence are most promising and pure and profound, and it's nice to be around. Do I sense these sensations for the same round of reason that I'm writing these rhymes to arouse you? Are moments just fleeting by, tricklings of time I may come to? I'm here now, I pass them, they're through. Remember them fondly, they spark something new, the next measure of moments that surround you. Thank you. Okay, so we are at the end of our reading, and I would like to invite our featured readers back up to each do one more piece to close us out. So, who would like to be first? Joanne or Lee?
I just realized why I got late. The clocks weren't set ahead.
There you go. See what happens? Joanne will be first.
Leah's next. Thank you. Yeah, very good. It was good to hear everybody, and some surprises too. Oh, my little breath. I want to dance. I want to go back down in my dream, that street where Rita White Rose moved in her own force field. I want my little breath, a force field of joy, and let her go, not take it on, make a whole bush of roses. Mine will be red, mine will be miracles. I will believe in miracles, pigeon doves. I will talk with the kind man on the bus who told me so many things about poets, poetry, New Jersey and New York. He's descended from the Scottish Highlanders. I could tell he was proud of this. His second cousin was Cecil B. DeMille, and I told him, "You should be a teacher." "Oh," he said quickly and tensely, "I am, a very frustrated one." He was stooped, his white hair thinning down to his shoulders. He went on his way to the seniors' lunch, and I hope to see him again. Oh, my little breath, aren't you big enough for all this? I went on my way, and yesterday Sydney got beaked by an aggressive parrot in the pet shop. I tried to save her. I flapped my hands like wings at the bird, who panicked and clung harder, taking a chunk out of her watch band. Oh, my little breath, you are a parrot shriek. You are an owl in the Sangre de Cristos. You are the turn in the road, sage smudge, Holy Ghost. I am ready for the next miracle. I am waiting. It's a long day, an unholy dream. Unwavering little edge of night breath, fold me beneath your little breath wings. Honey dove, explosion of roses. I'm the one that's always reaching. You're the one that can't be reached. Thank you.
Okay. Wow, this has been really fun. I've enjoyed everybody's poems. I grew up in Southern California, and yet I was a Brooklyn Dodger fan before they went to, when they were in Brooklyn. Let's put it that way. They were still in Brooklyn. So, and it's spring, so I'm thinking, okay. This is called 42. There was a movie by that title. I watch in black and white as he changes the color of the game. I see him rise and fall, rise again in silent dignity, retain integrity, regain words. I fall for him again for the first time, learn his true story, history not assigned in school. I learn why the team from Brooklyn left him behind when they came west to play near me. Spring rain, white gulls litter the infield.
Okay, let's have another hand for our featured readers, J, W, James, Ann, Lee, Darling. And also for all of you who came up and were brave and read today, let's have a hand for everybody that read. So thanks again for coming. I hope you enjoyed our event. And as a reminder, we're here every second Sunday of the month. We look forward to seeing you each again. We look forward to seeing you next month when our featured readers will be Joy McDowell and Shirley Mark. Okay? So again, I'd like to remind you to please help support the work of our authors by buying their books and supporting them online. You can go to our website. That's on the flyer if you grab one over there. And it has all the information you need, as well as all the videos taken that we've taken in the past and taken today and all that. There's a link to the videos. You can go there and see yourself on camera. So thanks again, and see you next time.